Carolina. I'm Joanna Heims. There are some truly incredible people giving back and making an impact on the world. I'm so excited to welcome one of those people, Cheska Colorado Mansfield. For 10 years, she's been running the global nonprofit Miracle Feet from a small office right here in the Triangle. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us about Miracle Feet. How did this get started?
So Miracle Feet, as you said, is a nonprofit based right here in North Carolina. We are tackling one of the largest causes of physical disability in the world. And the reason we're doing that by treating children that are born with a birth defect known as clubfoot, which affects 1 in every 800 children born worldwide. So an incredible number. If you're born with clubfoot in the US, you're going to be treated at birth. It's routinely treated. But in low-income countries, unfortunately, that treatment is not available. Clubfoot causes the feet to point inwards and upwards like this, which makes it very difficult to walk. So if you're not treated, you spend a lifetime unable to walk properly, balanced on the backs and sides of your feet. So obviously has incredible consequences as you grow up. Because of the lack of treatment and because 90% of children are being born in low-income countries, there are about 2 million children who are unable to walk properly because of this condition. So Miracle Feet is tackling that issue by building the capacity in local countries for the doctors in local hospitals to be able to treat this on a routine basis.
Amazing. And you guys are doing work in 26 different countries right now. Tell us some of the things you're providing and some of the treatments you're working on.
Right. So the treatment, fortunately, is very simple. It's a non-invasive treatment. It involves plaster of Paris casts that gently move the feet back into the right position. It takes only 2 to 3 months if you get the child when they're very young.
Wow.
Once the feet are in a fully corrected position, the children sleep in a brace at night. This is one of the things that we provide. This is a low-cost brace we designed specifically for the low-income countries we're working in. We provide training. We provide systems to identify children at an early age and make sure they're referred to the clinic. We provide any supplies that are missing, like the braces. And then we work with the government to institutionalize and integrate this into the public health system.
Why did you decide to dedicate your life to fixing this problem?
Yeah, it's a good question, because it's not a problem I'd ever heard of when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Not what I imagined doing with my life. I grew up living in low-income countries, mostly in Africa and Asia, and as a child I was very struck by the fact that I had a lot compared to the children that I saw around me. I made a promise to myself that at some point in my life I would do something to try to rectify that inequality and do something to help those kids. I came to UNC as a student from England. Everything changed one day when someone walked into my office, a man called John Buchanan, and he showed me a video that he had of a child living in a village in Uganda. I never learned the kid's name, but he was about 10 years old. And he was standing in a doorway, and he was balanced precariously on the sides of his feet, and his head was hanging down. And through the doorway, you could see the other kids running around and playing with a ball. I had just had our third child, and I had a very visceral reaction to that image of this child unable to join in. And I learned that the reason he couldn't join in was because he had this condition called clubfoot, which I'd never heard of. And I learned that this could very easily be treated. The
treatment for this actually isn't that expensive, right? When you think about it here in America.
It's very inexpensive. So we're able to deliver this full treatment for $500 a child. So
That's
for
amazing.
$500 is all it takes to allow a child to be able to walk properly, run, go to school, join in. And the real difference, it's difficult to live with a disability anywhere in the world, but it's really hard if you're born in a low-income country.
Absolutely.
Disability is treated very differently. There's tremendous stigma around it. So these kids tend to be hidden away. They're not valued in the same way as other kids because they can't help in the fields or collect water from the well. So they're very, very vulnerable.
You're changing lives around the world and from right here in the Triangle. Thank you so much for being here. If people out there want to support your cause and help what you're doing across the world, how can they do that?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. So you can go to our website at miraclefeet.org. You can also Google Miracle Feet and send us a check, or you'll be able to find our address quite easily.
Absolutely.
And every little bit helps because the more money we have, however large or small the amount, enables us to reach more kids.
Absolutely changing lives. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Joanne.